Oh my gosh, I'm so out of breath. Okay, hold on. This baby really gets me out of breath. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melody. I make faith-based content here on YouTube, and welcome to today's little mini vlog, just like a raw, real catch up with you guys on what's been going on in my life, in this pregnancy, in my world these last 2 weeks, because I'm off my content schedule. I asked you guys on Instagram, what should I post? It's Saturday, I need to get something up for Tuesday. And you guys gave me some great ideas, but the Lord really just placed it on my heart to just really come on here and be honest. Like, I am in a hoodie with salsa stains on it, with a shirt on that I slept in last night. I did put some makeup on just so I felt a little bit more presentable. I have 3 nails that have popped off. Why isn't my focus working? Focus is working again. I have 3 nails that have popped off. I have a nail that is hanging on by a thread here. And these are SNS, so this didn't actually pop off. This is me like picking at them. And yeah, I'm just gonna be talking about what happened these last 2 weeks. I was in the hospital, and I just want to go ahead and start by saying baby's fine. I am fine now, but I was in the hospital due to complications, and I also, stemming from these complications, have been wrestling with the Lord, and He really just placed it on my heart again to just be honest with you guys. Like, usually I like to come on here in my hair done, lips on, my lights going, background perfect. Like, you know, I like to be as put together as possible when you are coming online and talking to the internet. And He just was like, no, keep it 100. Like, be real. Our house is in shambles. We're moving soon. We're getting a dog in 2 weeks. I haven't shared that yet. There's just so much going on, and then on top of it, having to go to the hospital. So we're gonna get into that, and before we do, I want to go downstairs. I'm getting out of breath so easily. I'm also so hot, but I like to be cozy, so it's all a conundrum right now. My belly is huge. I'm gonna give you guys a small little bump update because we are bumping, but I just want to go downstairs and get my smoothie because it'll help me cool off and keep me from probably talking too fast, which keeps me from getting out of breath. So let's go downstairs, get my smoothie, and then we will reconvene this chitty chat. Okay. Oh, and I am not as mobile as I used to be, okay? This baby, man, just being pregnant in general, guys, I can't even, these are the stains I was telling you guys about. I just ate some salsa, and it's that one. Even through the sweater, you can see, like, I'm a big girl right now. I feel, I'm not gonna lie, I feel really big. I feel like huge. I mean, I know I'm not huge, and I'm only gonna get bigger, but your girl feels large. So that's the bump and my big old sweatshirt. Shout out to Amazon. I'll have a link to the description box if you guys are interested. It's just like a basic, whatever. Okay, downstairs. This thing is fire. It is from Clean Juice, and it's called the Healthy Heart one. It's very tasty. Let's get you all set up. I don't think that's gonna stay. Let's see. All right, it works. Walking up the stairs takes a lot out of me nowadays. Remove that. There we go. Okay. So let's chat. put this down here. On so on Labor Day weekend, well, I guess I have to start at the beginning. I'm pregnant, which you guys probably all know at this point. I definitely just showed you guys my bump. I am 21 weeks pregnant this week. And when I was 6 weeks pregnant, my first ultrasound, I was diagnosed with fibroids. And for those of you that aren't familiar with fibroids, basically they're just masses that grow off of your uterus. They can grow inside your uterus, in the lining of your uterus, off the top or the ends of your uterus. And a lot of women have it, especially African American women. I never knew I had fibroids, and that's just because I never got an ultrasound, and because of the location of my fibroids, it never impacted my cycle. Now, whew, oh my gosh, I'm so out of breath. Okay, hold on. This baby really gets me out of breath. Okay. So I found out I had 3 fibroids, and not only do I have 3 fibroids, but I have 3 large fibroids. As my baby's been growing, so have my fibroids. And I was told there really are 3 options of what can happen in a pregnancy when it comes to large fibroids. 1, they can cause absolutely no complications and you have a completely normal pregnancy. Definitely the ideal scenario. 2, you can experience fibroid degeneration. So that means that your fibroid's growing, and at a certain point, the blood supply that it is getting, it outgrows its blood supply. And so when it outgrows its blood supply, the fibroid begins to die. And while that doesn't impact the baby at all, which is amazing, the mother goes through HE double toothpicks because the fibroid is dying, releasing all of these chemicals. It's causing like acute pain, cramping. Like, from everything that I've read in terms of how to describe fibroid degeneration pain, it is like labor fibroid degeneration pain. You know what I mean? Like, they're like right there next to each other. And then the third option in terms of how fibroids can impact your pregnancy is if the fibroid grows too much, and because of its location, it impacts how the baby's able to grow. So like space-wise, the baby's not able to grow like it needs to, and then that can cause you to go and have to have the baby early and things like that. So, excuse me. Obviously, any woman who is diagnosed with fibroids is hoping for option path, whatever, number 1, where you just have a healthy, normal pregnancy and nothing happens. And that's really what I was believing God for. That is what I was praying for. My family and friends were praying for me in belief with that. Also, I shared in my first trimester video my fibroid diagnosis, and I just got so many of you guys saying that you were praying and believing and not to claim the fibroids, and which I do appreciate. But through this video, I might call it my fibroid because it is in my body, but it's not me like claiming the fibroid. But I understand where you guys are coming from, and I do appreciate it. So yeah. And long story short, last weekend, was it last weekend? No, the weekend of Labor Day, I went to the hospital at 2 a.m. in the morning on September 5th because my fibroid was degenerating. And it was a gradual process. At first, I thought I had just walked too hard. My husband and I went for a walk one evening during the week, and I thought maybe I sprained like some of my pelvic muscles because I had been experiencing like tightness in my hips anyways. So I thought, oh, you know, maybe I just walked too hard. Like, you know, I got to take it a little bit easy. I started to feel pressure. I started to feel like pressure on my pubic bone, pressure just like in my pelvis in general. And then the pain started. Since I've been pregnant, I haven't experienced any cramping at all. And all of a sudden I started feeling like small period-like cramps, and I was just like, But then, you know, when you Google it, it's like, oh, you know, your pelvis is expanding, the muscles are growing, it might come from that. But that night, Sunday morning technically, at 2 a.m., I knew something was wrong because I couldn't move. I couldn't get up. I couldn't place any pressure on the left side of my body. Where my fibroid's located is literally like right at my hip. So I'm trying to move around in bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't find a position where it was bearable, basically. And I called my doctor, like nurse doctor line, and basically they knew my diagnosis, and she was like, I think you're going through fibroid degeneration, you need to get to the hospital. So that's what we did. We drove to the hospital, and because of COVID, my husband wasn't even able to come in with me. I had to be wheeled in. They got me up to triage, and it was just like kind of like disbelief. Like, I've never been to the ER, I've never checked into the hospital before, and I'm worried, making sure, like, you know, I was told basically because of how intense the cramps and the pain from fibroid degeneration can be on a woman's body, it can trigger your uterus into going into preterm labor. Obviously, being at the time I was 20 weeks, the idea of having your baby at 20 weeks is terrifying and like very bad. So they had to monitor my uterus and like track it to make sure that it wasn't going into labor, which I wasn't. My husband did such a great job of just being there without being able to be there when he wasn't able to be there. The hospital hours were from like 7 to 9. So I got to the hospital at maybe 2. So we waited outside until 7 when he can come in. And yeah, shout out to nurses, honestly. Like, they are some of the nicest people I have ever met in my life. Like, they were just so kind, you know? I could never be a nurse. I don't know why I'm crying. They were just so kind. I feel like I saw God's hand a lot and just how everything unfolded. Like, I happened to just have a doctor's appointment on Thursday, and I met a new doctor in the practice I go to. And they do that because, you know, you need to make your rounds because you don't know which doctor is going to be on call when you have your baby. So you kind of want to meet everyone just in case the doctor you see every month isn't actually the doctor that delivers you. And it just so happened that the doctor that I had that week was the doctor on call that weekend. So we had that familiarity, you know, like she knew exactly what was going on. And she was so nice. So it's just like little things like that. And the nurses just being like literal angels, okay? Nurses are angels. Like, so nice, so patient, so kind. You don't want to bother them too much, you know, but I literally couldn't move without their help. I couldn't sit up without their help. I couldn't go to the bathroom without their help. I couldn't do anything, and they were there when my husband couldn't be there. And yeah, I saw God's hand a lot, but to be honest, I was still so upset. I did not think I was gonna cry, man. I was beefing with God about this because I feel like I made my prayer request, you know? My literal prayer, let this fibroid shrink in Jesus' name with no pain. With no pain. With no pain. And just having so many of you guys praying and believing with me in that, having my family and friends praying and believing with me in that. And honestly, it wasn't even something on my mind. Like, I really firmly believed that I wasn't going to go through this. And to go through it, I realized like maybe 5 days in, so after 2 days in the hospital, they give you this medicine that you only can take for a short period of time because it can impact the baby's heart development. So you're only able to take it for 48 hours. And after that, you just are on Tylenol, essentially, for pain management. Because that's really all you can do. When your fibroid's degenerating, it's dying, you're going through pain, and the only thing that will help is pain management. They can't do anything to stop the pain. And the medicine that they were giving me for the 48 hours was working fantastically. To the point where when I left the hospital on Tuesday, I thought I was like over the hump of it. And they say that the fibroid degenerating can last anywhere from 2 days to 3 weeks. So I'm thinking I got lucky. My fibroid is done degenerating after 2 days. We go home, and literally Wednesday and Thursday were the worst days of my life. I was in so much pain. The stabbing came back, the aching, unable to get comfortable. And at least at the hospital, you have a bed that you can like completely adjust. I wasn't even sleeping like flat. I was sleeping upright at the hospital. So trying to find a way to sleep upright comfortably at home. it was just so hard. And during this time, I realized, like, I'm not even praying. I wasn't even going to God. I didn't want to. And I realized, like, my heart was hard. I was, like, mentally thinking, I prayed specifically for this not to happen, and you let this happen. So I'm not even going to bother praying now for you to, like, help me get through this pain, or for you to take away this pain. You're probably not even going to take it away anyway. So why bother? And it took me a few days of kind of like having that hard heart and having that shoulder turned to him or from him for me to realize that's what was going on. Because when I talk to people, I think it's just so common in my vocabulary, you know, like, please pray for me. Like, yeah, this is rough, like, but I'm praying, or pray for me, or whatever. So I'm saying it, but I'm realizing, like, I'm not actually doing it, you know? And as I've started to feel better, so I'd say my mom got into town. She's been here for about 10 days. She left today, which I'm so sad about. It was so nice having my mom here. She got into town on Thursday to help take care of me. My husband had to go back to work. I couldn't get up the stairs. I was basically living downstairs, and she came down to help take care of me. And as I've started to, like, feel better and my degeneration has actually stopped, like, the degeneration is complete, knock on wood, thank you, Jesus, I've started diving back into reading the Bible and doing my devotionals. And that's where I really, the Lord just convicted me. I'm reading through Deuteronomy right now, and let me just tell you, Deuteronomy is a wild place, okay? This Old Testament land is wild. All these rules that Moses is trying to tell to the second generation of Israel, and telling them basically, like, do all this stuff, okay? Do it. There's just so many rules. Let me move this a little bit. There's just so many rules, and it's, you know, for their benefit, but it's just like so many rules, and coming from, obviously, you know, where we are now in the New Testament is jarring sometimes. But there is a spot in the Old Testament, or in Deuteronomy, where basically Moses is just emphasizing over and over and over and over and over again to the second generation of Israel, don't forget what God did when he brought you out of Egypt. Do not forget what God did when he brought you out of Egypt. So they have all these rituals and have all these things that they need to do yearly in an effort to continuously remember what God did for them. And I realized, as I was going through this, like, really difficult, painful, traumatic thing, I completely disregarded everything that God has ever done for me. I didn't think about the blessings, the miracles, the little things that I could see his hand in, even at the hospital, the nurse's kindness, like having that one doctor be there, the idea that maybe 2 of my fibroids were degenerating at the same time, the idea that you know, maybe this pain that I'm going through is going to prepare me for childbirth, so I'll be, you know, more prepared for childbirth. And, you know, my husband was saying, even, like, who knows, like, I don't do pain very well. And had I not gone through this, maybe my body would have gone into shock when I was, you know, going into labor, just at the amount and the volume of the pain that I would be feeling. So I didn't consider any of the goodness that could have potentially been coming out of this situation. I didn't consider any of the ways that the Lord has, like, saved me and kept me and showed me that he loved me throughout my life. I was just focusing on, I asked for this and you didn't give this to me. And that part of Deuteronomy just really convicted me, and I brought that conviction to the Lord and just asked him to forgive me, and, you know, repenting from that. And yeah, I feel like that is the biggest thing that I've learned from this. One, I've learned that, like, there's no telling what the Lord has in store for you, you know? I would think I would have, like, a super easy pregnancy. I really would. And maybe that's just me being naive. But everyone around me that I know that's ever been pregnant has not gone through any of this before. My mom didn't even know things like this happened, you know? Like, it's just not common in my life, in my sphere, in my world. And just knowing that even though I don't necessarily see why, that God is sovereign and I don't have to understand why. I don't have to understand his perspective, but I am called to trust him, and I am called to like surrender to his sovereignty and to trust. I think that's the biggest one. Like, while I can think, what on earth came good out of this? Well, to be completely honest and logical about it, now at least I only have 2 active fibroids now. So that's a good thing, you know? And yeah. So it has been a difficult, trying, growing 2 weeks, and that's why I'm behind on my content schedule. I was literally in the middle of filming a vlog that weekend when all of this happened, and there was absolutely no way I was about to vlog through that. Like, that's just no, you know, didn't even cross my mind to pick up a camera or anything like that. Like any person, I'm sure it wouldn't cross their mind. And that is like the most transparent and honest I can be about really what's going on in my life right now. Like I mentioned, like, this pregnancy has been hard, and I think God is just showing me through this that I'm tougher than I give myself credit for, or I've ever thought that I am. Like, I can get through these things even though maybe I don't necessarily want to or like to. He's teaching me how to surrender to his sovereignty, surrender to his authority, to what he has in plan, his timing, like his timing over my timing, his ways over my ways. And I know that I'm going through this for a reason. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm believing that it's going to be for a reason. I mean, obviously my baby is the reason, but like all of the difficulties in this pregnancy, like, who knows? Maybe it just means like when I have another baby one day, Lord willing, it'll be like the best pregnancy, smoothest thing ever. And I'll just be so appreciative because I'll compare it to this first experience. Or maybe like I'll end up, you know, like a woman can be encouraged by this who's also going through the same thing. Like, fibroid degeneration is no freaking joke. When I tell you it's no joke, it's no joke. Guys, it's no joke. I don't wish it on anyone. And I pray for any woman that is experiencing it. Like, encourage you to just push through and to know like it will stop. It cannot last forever. I felt like in the middle of it, like, will this ever go away? You know, you just get in that hopeless state of mind. But yeah. So that's really all I wanted to come on here and share with you guys. I've never really done a vlog or video like this, and again, the Lord just really placed it on my heart to be open and honest and transparent, and just keep it real and kind of release some of the facade of social media facade, and share just what he's been doing in my heart lately as well. It's been, yeah. I feel like that's all I can say. But anyways, I am going to wrap up this video. I need to get it to my editor ASAP for him to edit it, although likely it probably is going to be a pretty easy edit. So shout out to Marcos. I could not do any of this I do on YouTube without him. His information is linked in the description box if you're ever looking for an editor. He's fantastic. We've been working together for almost a year now, and again, I wouldn't be here on YouTube where I am without his help, because editing takes forever and I just have other things to do. Oh, should I mention in this video? Well, yeah, I guess last things last, because of my hospitalization, because of everything going on with my pregnancy, I am putting on pause the YouTube group coaching program I was going to launch at the end of the month. I just can't. Like, I just can't push myself to do that right now. I really have to take it easy, rest, recuperate, and really focus on my health and my baby's health. And it's just not something that I can take on. But if this is something that you guys show an interest in, I do have an application, and I'm going to be emailing all the applicants and kind of offering some, not 6-week group coaching, but just some alternatives, because I do have a heart to help you guys grow your channels. And if this is like super confusing, you have no idea what I'm talking about, I announced it on Instagram as well as my newsletter, which you can sign up for in the description box. But I was going to launch a 6-week group coaching program, basically an accelerator on teaching people how to start their YouTube channel and how to grow on YouTube as well. And I definitely plan on doing that down the road, like the full 6 weeks group coaching program structure. But for where I am in this pregnancy and just health wise, it's not something the Lord is like urging me to take on. I feel like he's urging me to step back and really just focus here on YouTube and the ministry. So yes, I think that's all my housekeeping information. And I guess I'll end the video with this. I would love to know, what has the Lord been teaching you through difficult situations? I know that difficult situations obviously are not fun to go through, and we can often, like I was experiencing, harden our heart towards him when we go through them, and not really taking any time or wanting really to see what we could possibly be learning through it, or what he could be teaching us through it, or even seeing his goodness through it, because again, it's a difficult situation. But if you feel led, I would love to read your guys' comments on a lesson that you've been learning through a difficult situation, or a lesson that you've learned previously through a difficult situation, just as an encouragement to anyone who's also walking through something trying, which honestly, I bet we all are. Like, this life is not without its struggles and its trials and its tribulations. And as I progress in this pregnancy, I will definitely keep you guys updated health-wise. As of now, I've been home from the hospital since the 7th. I've been back to work. My first full day was this past Tuesday. And I'm making content again here on YouTube, wanting to start back up on everything. And yeah, I'm feeling better. I'm starting to feel like myself again. Still a little sore. My body's pretty sore just from the whole ordeal, but I can walk again. I'm excited to just start walking, exercising, making sure I'm taking care of my body, taking care of my spirit, taking care of my heart, and taking care of my baby, okay? My baby is so cute. We had an ultrasound this past week as like a follow-up from being in the hospital. And because I have fibroids, I just keep on talking, y'all. Okay, let me just say this really quick. Because I have fibroids, they can't measure my belly to track the baby's growth, because the fibroids throw everything off. So they have to do an anatomy scan every month to make sure the baby is growing on schedule. And it's actually amazing, because I get to see my baby every month. My baby is so cute. I'll insert some of the recent ultrasound pictures that we got from my latest appointment, which was this past week. I had like a little follow-up appointment after being in the hospital, and the baby is just so cute. We'll be announcing gender and name and all that stuff soon, so stay tuned. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for like just riding with me and supporting me on this journey and just being there. I literally, like, there's so many awesome things going on in my life because of you guys, because of this community, and I'm just so grateful for you all. So thank you. I will see you in my next video next Tuesday, and until then, yeah, be well, guys. Stay well, be well, and